back to the North American LCS and our final match of the day, Cloud9 versus LMQ. And with both Counterlogic Gaming and Dignitas losing in upsets today, one of these teams will be pulling themselves into a three-way tie for first place with a win right here.
Yeah, and Cloud9 did look good in their win against Curse yesterday. They returned to a tried-and-true strategy where Hyatt Meteos would roam to help Balls steamroll his lane. Also, Hyatt had some very effective Twisted Fate ultimates to force engages and press Cloud9's early game advantage.
And the last time these teams faced off, it was LMQ that took the early game lead, if you remember, and Cloud9 had a tough time fighting their way back to eventually take the win.
LMQ do play aggressively when they're ahead, but they also do not back down when they're behind. I mean, in their game against CLG yesterday, they lost the team fight at Dragon, and before we finished showing the replay, they were already back at Dragon, duking it out again. But the second time ended with LMQ getting aced, and it only put CLG further ahead. It's this tenacity, coupled with their individual skills, that really make them such a formidable opponent. However, as we saw in the previous show yesterday, Doublelift does not think that they're living up to the hype.
And LMQ have earned many teams' respect with their dominating early game, but it's what comes after the initial onslaught that they need to work on.
The last time we played LMQ, we did a 2v1 swap, so we stuck around and just kept poking through our champions and just ended up winning the game, basically.
打 C9 的那一场，我觉得主要输的原因还是因为我们自己的失误过多。在中期，我们一度就是说有很高的经济优势领先的，然后之后是两波团，导致我们就是全线经济就被反超，然后崩盘的。
They like to revolve their strategy around their jungler and maybe their top laner and support. They like to do the three-man roam at the moment. They kind of run around everywhere and try to catch our jungler and our top laner out of position or our support even. They just go all in.
在上一周我们输给康奈之后，我们回去就是也针对一些阵容以及后期打团方面进行了一些研究。
They do have weaknesses when it comes to endgame, but their early game is amazing.
我觉得我们要处理好中期的，就是说一个推进节奏，还有就是说减少失误，我相信我们可以赢。
It'll be interesting to see what these guys bring out. It was the Kazakhs for high last time, a few other picks, the LeBlanc for Xiaowei Xiao, a lot of aggressiveness. We don't see a lot of Kazakhs.
Yeah,
for
High picked Kazakhs into LeBlanc, which is a really hard matchup to go in. I don't think they're going to do that again.
Well, we'll see. We're going to check out the starting lineups right now and find out if that's true. Because on the blue side, it's Cloud9. In the top lane is Balls. Meteos in the jungle. He's talking with Sneaky. High in the mid lane, Sneaky on AD carry. And Elimination on support.
And on the red side, it's LMQ. Up top, Ackerman. In the jungle, No Name. Mid, Xiao Xiao. AD carry Vasily. And support More.
In this last game, definitely, if you haven't, definitely deserves a rewatch. The fights were amazing. Some of the biggest tug-of-wars we've seen throughout the LCS. And it's back and forth. Both of these teams know how to fight, whether they have 5 items or not, and make the fight last like 30 seconds. They know how to micro in and out, get the damage where it needs to be. And then it's usually one person walking around each side with no health. So I am ready for this game to go pretty much to 11 and then some.
And both of these teams have spent a lot of time analyzing what happened last time that they played. So both teams coming in with new strategies. Cloud9 can't necessarily count on LMQ playing to their old tendencies because they're very well aware of what went wrong last time. And do not want repeat mistakes.
Exactly true, Kobe. They stated it. They know the mistakes were made. Will they be able to fix them? LMQ has kind of been trying some different things lately that didn't work, but seem to kind of put them in a slump. They're at 2 consecutive losses now. A third one will be the most they've been looking at.
Somebody who has not been trying too many new things is that guy right there, Meteos.
You don't say.
Has only played. Yeah, they have only won games when he's on Lee Sin. He's 7-0 on Lee Sin. They've lost every single game that he has not been on Lee Sin. 0-4.
So what you're telling me is
Lee Sin's a high priority for Cloud9 right now. Just by pure numbers, 7 straight wins with the champion. Those are the only wins that they have gotten.
And this isn't, this is knowledge that teams will know, will look at. You can't look by the king of the jungle right now, or he will make it hurt.
They're looking to go again here. They ban Elise, and they're looking to first pick Lee Sin. Once
Squeeze
again,
out
LMQ cancel. Good counter right there. They notice what Cloud9 are going to go for.
So that means the game's over, right? Is it Lee Sin?
No, the game has just begun.
Well, it seems so. The second blind pick casted in today, and it's the first priority coming in for Cloud9.
Hai is a really big fan of this champion. I was definitely wondering what he was going to fall on nowadays, because he's been bouncing around so much with his champion pool. Very sporadic choices from high, but this time, something he's very comfortable with. He really loves champions like Kassadin, who can snowball off of a couple early kills from roaming around.
Yep.
So really just plays right into High's whole style, really. We'll see if he can actually get this Kassadin going, though, because Kassadin does rely on, that first kill. He really excels in chasing people down in, jungle skirmishes and things like that. So we'll see how Cloud9 can actually create those situations for High to shine.
Worked quite well for Complexity earlier, Kobe. We'll see if they can put it into effect.
When I say all that,
yeah.
However, Kassadin could very well go top.
That's right.
We haven't seen Balls use it yet.
There is that
the
inkling that we've been seeing at Kassadin top. Jack talked about it a little earlier. We'll see if it actually happens. Interesting that Moore, with Thresh up, picks Braum. Even Morgana, too. Moore is very much a playmaker. You can do that on Braum, but the hooks and the lanterns, the bindings, it's a little more playmaking than throwing out some slow.
Yeah, a lot of shields picked up here for LMQ.
Mm-hmm.
As I was saying before, like Braum, he doesn't necessarily have the strongest long-range engage for the team, but he is so strong defensively, it allows you to not have to bring a tank from your jungle or top lane position, since as a support, he can get just as tanky with all the damage reduction from his giant shield. They pair that with a Lulu pick, who can either go mid or top lane, and already LMQ have substantial defenses without having to invest in one of the traditional tanks.
A discussion with Vasily on the screen as well. Looking at Thresh over for Lemon Nation. Let's see what he locks in. He looks making plays as well.
Yeah, the Rengar has already been locked in for Meteos, and that is such a good combo with Kassadin. Talking about chasing people down, Rengar, boom, as soon as he hits level 6, he'll come in for that stealth gank, and he can not exactly 100% somebody by himself that early on, but he can get you low enough that Kassadin can easily capitalize on that gank. Even if Kassadin is sitting back farming minions, post level 6, he can definitely jump on any sort of gank that Meteos is getting himself into, especially with teleport.
Right.
He'll be able to get into any action anywhere on the map.
So we are going to get a switch up in Champion Select. I believe there was a selection that went through. If you make somebody aware of that, or if there was a mishap before the other picks go through, then obviously that is reset. So they're going to get fixed up on that. Probably not the Amumu Ezreal.
Yeah, we'll get right back into it pretty soon here. But already some interesting things coming out from both teams. Like we talked about, super shielding from LMQ. Does this signal late game hyper carry for them? Or are they just going to go full kite comp here? Definitely depends on which lane Lulu's going to go into. Excited to see.
It will be interesting in the fact that LMQ always wants to go forward, depending on whatever they're against or what they get. They kind of went with the Pantheon. Their forward motion kind of aggression didn't work with that. So I think any picks they take besides this, even going against the Kassadin, they'll be able to push that out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. But C9 with the two assassins of Rengar and Kassadin.
That's true.
I feel like that combo.
And the playstyle of Meteos and High.
Is just waiting to explode. That can easily snowball out of control because both those champions just need a couple of kills to get going. Rengar, as soon as he starts stacking up his Bone Tooth necklace, gets out of control really quickly. And Meteos has been practicing this champion a lot in the jungle.
He has.
We'll see if he's perfected his skills yet.
An unfortunate loss on his first play, but the whole team loses, not just one person sometimes. I'm just kidding. Coming up, Champion Select is resetting itself. We're almost through, and we'll get the picks and bans underway to let you know what these guys have done in kind of the chess portion of the game. What pieces are going to be put into place right now. Cloud9, as we said, looking at that, Kassadin, the Rengar, and the Thresh. Was really surprised that Moore didn't take that Thresh with the plays he's been coming out with. They decided to go Braum this time, and that's kind of what we were talking about. Their team's focused on shields, focused on defense.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because anytime you're going against really heavy assassin teams, stacking shields and defenses like this is a good option. So LMQ already with a pretty good game plan. We'll see if they add more on top of this because, Orianna's still up, could easily have the same combo that Dignitas went with Lulu plus Orianna as your solo laners, and then Braum as your support. Ridiculously good defensive kiting team, and it would be a change of pace for LMQ. We talked about them analyzing their late game execution. Maybe they're just going to bring a whole new style to Cloud9 and not want to repeat the loss that they had previously.
It was definitely a different game. As we were saying before, the first time that they played, a very back-and-forth game, and it's going to show that again. At 7-4 each, both of these teams sitting near the top want to be in that top position. And like we said, whoever gets this, that three-way tie for first is going to come off of this. It's something we've seen that's always been in the middle of the pack in North America. And to see all of the caliber this year sitting at the top has really mixed things up. And we see the upsets coming in today as well.
Yeah, everybody wants to be on the top. There's a scramble now in North America. Everyone's clawing their way. As soon as you think you've got some good fantasy picks and there's a team that's riding high on a good win streak, they immediately get upset the next week.
Well, looking back at the picks, we did say when Meteos gets that Lee Sin, he will be winning. We said his Rengar previous play was a loss, but their win against LMQ did come from that Lee Sin play. So
the flip side is that every time he's not on Lee Sin, they lose. Currently, they have Rengar. It could be switched up to the top lane, and Balls could take it. But currently, he's selecting a champion that is not named Lee Sin. So if we go by the data, that's
history repeats
gonna be
itself.
rough.
Always, right? It's got to be that way. Just don't overlap, and you won't break the timeline. We got the Oriana Kobe being locked in. He said that was still up, and Xiaowei Xiao has been no stranger to utility play mid-champion. So he'll be happy to put out some damage. And we get the Graves pick. Graves is locked in the game. A Kog'Maw as well from the other side. Fantastic.
Quick picks coming in here. They combo this stacking of shields with non-late game AD carry, Graves. He is a very burst-oriented AD carry.
Show how much grip
However, it's a lot of area of effect damage, so they can't just go with the strategy of annihilating you in a team fight. They can easily AoE down pretty much the entire Cloud9 team if they catch them in a group. Something that LMQ may not be aware of, though, Cloud9, one of their greatest strengths last year was playing against AoE teams, against these team fight AoE Dragon contenders. Cloud9, they just split up so well. Their team fight positioning is immaculate. They never have two threats standing next to each other in a team fight. They are always able to disperse and then collapse again for reinitiation. So if they go how things have trended with Cloud9, Cloud9 should be able to work around all of this AoE, but it looks impressive from LMQ right now. They've got a great burst combo.
Impressive indeed. LMQ also, like you said, the fight disengaging, always knowing where to position. I don't think one time when they played against Complexity and Westroyce was on Malphite, he ever hit more than a one-person unstoppable force. Like you said, these teams know how to fight it out. The game's about to go live right now, so let's see who you think will come out on top. According to LOL Esports, 65% of you think it's going to be Cloud9 racking up the win in one of our closest votes today.
If you don't like those numbers, though, you can keep on voting and send in your hashtag C9win or hashtag LMQwin to @LO Esports. We will be checking back in throughout the entire game and get your real-time reactions.
So we get the Graves play coming in here. Definitely getting a lot of champions coming in week 5 here. It's some Ari play, other stuff.
Got to play Graves before 410 hits because Graves loves Bloodthirster in its current form, 4.9 for the tournament realm.
Get that last bit of love.
He scales so well with just flat attack damage, all of his abilities. So he's going to get his playtime in now.
I like the fact that they have that Jarvan to sink everybody in the middle, a Shockwave to sink everybody in, and then you hit collateral damage with a nice buckshot. It's all easier to say than do. But.
Yeah, you don't have to kite back if you have a comp with Oriana and Lulu. It's easy. But if you add a Jarvan into that mix, then you pretty much just switch the entire clip there because Jarvan is almost always jumping in with the ball and going for the Shockwave dunk.
Well, here we go. Before we take off to England for Wembley, our final game of Week 5 of the NALCS. We're locked in and ready to rock out. Cloud9 versus LMQ. We're on the Rift.
This team fight from LMQ just looks so fun. I feel like we'll see No Name stacked up with double shields from Lulu and Oriana. And then as soon as he jumps in for the Shockwave, Moore will follow right behind him.
Yep.
And tell him to stand aside for a very quick dive from these two.
Vasily twerking.
Mafia Master Vasily.
You got to be aggressive on Graves. I'm very interested to see how Vasily plays this matchup because that falls right into line with his style.
Especially if they do match up normal lanes like we're looking right now. Graves definitely benefits from shoving a wave really quickly. So that's exactly what Braum wants to do anyway.
Yeah.
And Braum with the Targon, if LMQ can get Vasily and Moore into a lane first, then it will be really big for them, and it will actually be a very good sign. Sneak in Lemon Nation with that Kog'Maw. He's just looking to try and farm up for the beginning of the game.
Keeping themselves safe. Always see Lemon Nation not going for the early Sightstone for vision in that bottom lane. It's something they even played back to the Ashe Zyra, where they ward sometimes, use plants, and use the Hawk Shot.
Now, a lot of teams, when you're defending late invades, do not like to stand in this bush behind red buff anymore, just because everyone did that for so long that you throw blind skill shots into it. Moore doesn't throw the blind skill shot. Wait till he see his target, and he gets the flash for his troubles.
Could have been pretty bad.
Successful late invade, and we will see 2 versus 2. So Moore and Vasily, you see them. Vasily waits for Braum to get there and stand in front of him. They don't want to face check that bush and have the AD carry take a large amount of damage. This is something that happens a lot in solo queue, where your duo lane will get chunked out right at the beginning of the game. A little bit cheesy of a tactic. But Vasily and Moore protect themselves by having the large man with the mustache walk first. I guess they're both pretty large men with mustaches, though.
Yeah, that's true. Krave's not tiny. Get to safety, and they start farming out the lanes. We're getting standard matchup once again, which is going to be fantastic. I love to see what the dual lanes can put against each other. And we get a little bit more in the mid lane as well. It's been left apart in the 2v nuns on an island, which has been a little different when you get the lane swaps. That's just how it goes. Meteos getting his red invade. We'll see this soon coming in from No Name.
Yeah, Rengar, his early game isn't the best, so he's having a bit more trouble countering and getting the answer back to have his double buff. However, he successfully gets it, just a little bit behind, as you can see in experience here. No Name off to a very good start. Now, the changes to Jarvan, meant for his laning phase for top lane Jarvans, actually helped out his jungle a lot, because the change to his passive, where it's actually more damage now, 10%, and just a longer cooldown, just means he has more burst for his gank. Since you don't really get 2 procs of it off early anyway, he just has much stronger ganks now. Very, very high impact when he comes in with a lot of burst damage with his combo.
Very long route he's taking here,
See if he can catch anybody off guard. I also like to track with every Jarvan here. If they max double.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, the lockup from concussive blows. He did not expect the extra crowd control. And No Name sneaks all the way around. The ward has been placed that would have caught No Name now.
Yeah, a little bit too late on that one. Doesn't see the Jarvan come through. Jarvan is one of the hardest junglers to ward against, though, because even if you ward that spot, No Name has the option of flag and drag right over that dragon wall. So he could have gotten that gank off multiple ways. Does get first blood for himself, and that's very important for Jarvan. He really, really likes the snowball early here. Let's see what he is leveling up, because that burst damage definitely paid off there. He might just go the standard route, Q into flag. Waiting to see if anybody maxes the shield second, though.
It'll be a different game for No Name this time. We'll see how much more aggressive he plays versus their game against CLG. He went 1-6-7 on that Jarvan, so...
Well, the other thing is, he is the one on LMQ who started with a sweeper. He didn't even switch it out. Whereas Cloud9, they had Lemon Nation start with their sweeper down in the bottom. So Lemon Nation, having to go back early, is at least able to complete his Sightstone. And that's at least a small bonus for them. He didn't have to go back before he had enough money for that. Looks like he actually might have had to sell a few small odds and ends to complete it, because he has no consumables left.
Didn't have everything he wanted. You can see Moore leaving the lane. Sneaky tries to take aggression on that. Already wasting out his mana. Without that on Bio Arcane Barrage now, he's definitely using a lot more Caustic Spittle in that Void Ooze.
All right. Now, let's take a look at this top lane matchup, because Renekton versus Lulu. Lulu is a very annoying laner to go against for pretty much all melee champions. Wow, we're going to have a third champion coming up here, though. No Name does make him way up the river.
He's close.
Slow Lance.
Glitter Lance in.
He's waiting for the second round here.
There goes the ward. He's going to have the slice and dice, and actually No Name stands in way for the slice and dice to occur. Unfortunate on that one. They don't get a flash out of balls either.
Yeah, he did get a lot of harass down, though. We'll force him back. Now, Renekton, it's very, very good for balls that he didn't have to blow his summoner, because the advantage Renekton has over Lulu is kill pressure.
Oh. Oh, this is a great counter, but they have the ward there already. No Name thinks he can go versus 3. Going to be very dangerous. Flag and drag over to the opposite side he wants to be on now, and it's going to be a bit of a ring around the rosy if he can get out. Full vision, waiting for the flag and drag. No. Flashes over the wall to safety and really just saves face on that one.
What a hilarious series of events right there. Meteos flashes into that bush to try and get his leap strike off to close the distance, but Zhao was already out of range there, blowing his flash, and then Meteos is not able to get the jump onto No Name, who flag and drags over. Bunch of hopscotch going on in the mid lane, and actually a pink ward is wasted in the process. Somebody dropped that on accident. There's no stealth champions that they were looking to keep track of there. It was just a misclick. Happens in the heat of the moment where everybody's jumping around.
Moving around, still watching pressure here. No Name, you can see his first buy, didn't even get the stone. Actually went for the damage as he goes for his lizard, and he had a pink and a green to come out of base with. So they're just trying to pressure their lead a little bit more. That was kind of foiled a little bit, and they wasted a flash or a few. But they're trying to regain position, and like Cloud9 said here, that 3-man roam team is everywhere. No Name's always with another 2 people.
Well, right now, he's circling around bottom side once again. And as we said, there are many paths that Jarvan can take to gank you. A lot of them have been warded by Cloud9. However, you can go with the classic flag and drag over into the small bush there. That would still be available for him. He continues to farm though. He wants that level 6 Cataclysm. But that gank path is always there. Secondary blue buff spawns. Looks like nobody's going for their invade. And it will just be given over to mid laners as usual.
This is where they got to be careful though. Kobe High is now 7. You're going to see a bit of roaming from him if even necessary. And that's where that first kill came from Prolly earlier today in his Cassadin game. See if LMQ can dodge out this aggression that may be triggered by Cloud9 soon in their roam. Blue buffs traded over. Meteos not level 6 yet, but neither is No Name, so we're not going to see those. Oh, never mind.
Great timing, Riv. Meteos is also going with the Mad Dreads, probably into Feral Flare there. We haven't seen many Rangars keep Feral Flare as well, or keep Mad Dreads with a Spirit item, which some other junglers do. But yeah, the Samsung junglers have done the Feral Flare Rengar as well. A lot of success for them, but Meteos trying something new for himself. Last time he went Spirit of the Elder Lizard, which is, you know, more assassination potential, but Flare here, playing more for late game. Attack speed is very, very strong for Rengar. Also, Meteos wants to keep 5 stacks of Fury before he goes for a gank. You always want to stack up 5 before you pop your ulti because it does not generate them while you're in stealth anymore. It increases your rate after you pop out of stealth. So if you go into it with 5 already, then you have the highest chance of taking somebody down. And when you're in the jungle, you have an easy option of just staying at your jungle camp longer to charge those Fury up. Now that he's level 6, and he's got red buff, and he's got 5 Fury, I expect Meteos to go for a kill right now. Looks like he's headed bottom lane, and High will probably want to coordinate that with him as well. Talked about the dual assassins here. See if they can actually make it happen. This is a pretty crucial point for Cloud9 to get their snowball rolling.
See what Meteos can do as he comes out of base. Looks like he will be headed down towards that bottom side.
It's pushed up though.
Should come back. One more wave in. Meteos, as we've said before, even when the double jungle happens, he gets a lot of the farm. So it almost seems like the Feral Flare and him kind of hanging out in the jungle to get bigger works in his favor. Because when he comes out and he's for sure about the gank, it always goes in Cloud9's favor.
Well, it looks like he has given up on bottom lane, so he might regret that, as No Name's been sitting around here looking for a gank as well. We'll see how defensively this Cloud9 bottom lane can play. If they do it right and Sneaky's up front and Lemonation plays further back, then they can just rely on the Lantern to get him out of Cataclysm or any sort of trouble they gets themselves into. Looks like they do play it sufficiently safe, and No Name gives up, gets bored.
Very different. I'm sure players are getting antsy now. We would have seen Lemonation roaming for ganks as well in the different lane situation. Sneaky 77 to the 90 of Vasily in that lane pressure that they're able to put on. Going very well in that lane. And if Graves can get big in this fight, it's going to be very hard for them to take him down with all the shields.
Yeah, Looks like there's going to be happily farming down there. Meanwhile, curious that Cloud9 have not tried to kill this Lulu earlier in the game. A lot of teams, when they see a top lane Lulu, will even go for early dives on her before she hits that level 6, while she still is a squishy mage. It's a good deep wards here from Ackerman, you know, supplementing that green one that just ran out with a trinket ward placed even deeper because he wants to get vision of Minos as he's on his way to gank the lane. Won't be able to see him after he activates his ult. So deep vision, very important against Rengar. Similar to Evelynn. And Ackerman doing a very fine job of keeping himself safe.
Safe and CS'd up, 112 to 96 in that. Doesn't look like they're going to try to move on anything just yet. Both teams kind of stalemating each other out. Dragon's definitely going to be an option quite soon. But LMQ's already got the vision on that. Hai has been taking chances of constant harass onto Xiao and trying to push him off the lane. But easy shields actually coming in from him, keeping himself safe in that lane. He's actually leveling the dissonance.
Quick move over here. They force Sneaky back to base. LMQ go for the dragon. Strong timing for them. Call the jungler down. Very good call here. Sneaky won't be able to make it, so should be an easy objective for LMQ.
You just saw Meteos typing on his screen saying what time Dragon is, so they have that pretty much down to the second. Cloud9 will be able to contest the next Dragon spawn.
Here's that classic gank up top. It took a lot longer than usual for Meteos to make his way up here. And Ackerman is already well past his level 6. They are going for the dive, though. Great glitter lance to stall this one.
A little too patient. I like how Balls played that one, saying, I'm not being aggressive, but he eats the glitter lance to the face, and nobody likes glitter. Very nicely played by Xiao, putting himself right on top of Hai for the dissonance to work on damage and allow him to move around. Keeps himself clean.
It's a flexible one there, dodging in and out. Now, that was although nothing happened up top, pretty big. Cloud9 do not get to use that Rengar ulti.
Flashes, Glacial Fissure comes out. A very nice box is going to keep them in range of the turret for a little bit longer. But Moore is getting out of this one. They got to be very careful here. Vasily taking some more shots. The teleport coming in from Balls in the top lane. Oh! Sneaky! Hitting the final arcane barrage shots that are necessary. Look out. Sneaky going to get hit up one more time. There's nothing that Moore can do. It's going to be Balls trying to come in and help this out. Effective health going out to Moore from Wild Growth. They get themselves into a bit of a tunneled situation, and Sneaky's going to go ahead and back off on this as much as he can. Avoid use would be very helpful, but looks like Balls can get himself out of the danger himself.
So they trade here. Support kill for AD carry kill. However, Meteos has been able to fill in that top lane for Cloud9. So they rotate Sunburn from the jungle out to the open lane, whereas LMQ, they committed their jungler down bottom. So they weren't able to get anyone into that open lane after both top laners decided to teleport down bottom. And basically what had happened is Cloud9 get a free lane of experience, shoving that one into the turret. So they come out slightly ahead, even though it was a 1-for-1 trade.
And that turret becomes prepped for gold, really, in any necessary situation when they want it. Coverage going around on the bottom side of the map. I expect to see a bit more aggression down there. We see Meteos hovering that way already. And a little back and forth as Vasily not looking too strong in this engagement in the HP area, along with Sneaky. So the AD carries have to be very careful right now. Everybody's getting a little roam on.
Battle over the pink wards. Looks like LMQ decided to give this one up. Meteos does have his ulti ready once again. Stacked up 5 ferocity as well. And getting the red buff.
Says no thank you. Going back to the mid lane. Yeah, there's a lot of farm there he would be missing if he did not go back to mid. So good call. He actually puts a little bit of damage onto Xiao first and goes back for that. Looks very close to be going down in the bottom lane. LMQ would love to create more pressure around the map.
Going for this dive.
Not damage to Moore right now. It actually goes to No Name. Drops Cataclysm immediately. And Moore is still trying to go hard on this. Here comes Meteos. We'll see what kind of damage he can put out. Moore instantly stand behind me to Vasily. The shot back and forth in the draw. A Cathian surprise is going to be doing true damage to Moore. They allow Hai to come over the side. Hai picks up that first kill now for Kassadin. It's going to be big.
Sneaky with the greed, and this time around it is Hai who roams, so Xiao gets the shove into lane, denying experience.
Yeah.
Extra kills for Cloud9 though.
More look at this.
So this is the burst damage that's available with the Graves Jarvan combo. annihilated before Cataclysm even hits the ground. Sneaky plays this pretty well up into the last hit here. So he keeps Vasily interested, then wants one more shot as he shoots his Q, which costs him an auto attack from Vasily, and does go down.
If that would have happened the other way around and he killed Sneaky first, he would have leveled up and probably actually lived because he leveled as soon as he died. Interesting engagement in the bottom lane. Ackerman getting hit up and just on the edge of his little Lulu hat, he gets the safety. 4-3 here, looking at 17 minutes in. The gold lead's only about around 1,000 deficit for Cloud9, so very much anybody's game right now. You see a lot more focus towards the top lane. Looks like they will be getting this prep turret down for some more cash money.
Cloud9 doing a lot of work clearing out all these pink wards as well. Down bottom and up top. There's one more left in there. Was a pink on it already. Looks like Moore could get cornered.
Not too much damage coming out onto Moore. That's an easy turret for Vasily and the rest of the team. Pressure created and relieved in the bottom lane. Good job from LMQ. Spreading the gold lead a little bit, but we're even in turrets. Looking at this mid one, after this dragon in 1 minute, if LMQ comes up big, they can take a lot.
Yeah, I think LMQ are really going to look to force this next dragon because their combo is shaping up very nicely. No Name's gone full offense here, and if they just back him up with the 2 AP solo laners worth of shields, he jumps right into the middle, gets everybody's attention. Vasily has a large amount of burst damage and doesn't have to worry about his defensives. It's a very strong combo here from LMQ at the next dragon fight. We'll see if Cloud9 want to take it, or if Cloud9 can actually pick somebody off beforehand. All depends on how many wards they can get down first. Outer turrets are definitely going to help.
They have the position to take mid first and really start to deny around the map. Very, very spread out for Cloud9 right now. Just to look how LMQ is swarming everything right under the turret. Vasily going very hard. Doesn't get all the damage he wants to get the kill out, but Hai cannot aggress, and they are setting themselves up perfectly for Dragon right now.
A couple of ultis for a couple of flashes here. LMQ just spent ultimates, however, Cloud9 down 2 flashes after both of those exchanges.
Oh dear.
Hai does have home guard, so he's coming as quickly as possible, but it's too little too late. LMQ finished the dragon.
Oh, grab from the backside. Very split again for this one. Sneaky trying to walk in.
They know Lemon has no flash.
Oh, there's the hits. They get the ignite down. That's going to be a good damage. The dissonance is enough to power through. Xiaowei Xiao going for a full W level on that and then leveling the ball throughout the game. And they're able to come up with some good kills. Now setting back up to try and stop this in mid. LMQ seems to be on the ball.
They also leave Xiao Xiao down bottom, so they are getting an extra lane of golden experience worth of minions here, trying to rely on their second AP solo laner, Ackerman, to help clear these waves. Definitely having Graves on your team helps out as well, and they are successfully able to defend it. So LMQ come away very, very big, and it's all due to their aggressive style. They don't hesitate to blow these ultimates, and they take these fights. When Hai jumps in on Vasily, Vasily has no fear. He just stands and fights him. Ackerman backs him up with the Lulu ultimate and has to blow flash to get out. Same thing with Lemon. He has to flash away from the shockwave of Xiao Xiao. He's not afraid to just blow that shockwave on a single person. And then LMQ reap the rewards, even though they don't get kills out of these. Large chunks of damage, and they not only get that dragon, but they also defend it.
So one thing you'll always see LMQ doing during the loss of a fight is be there to continue the fight before it actually ends. Spawn and then run back to Dragon and keep fighting. A team that will always stop going if it works or not. 5-3. Now we crest 20 minutes in the game. Ball's doing a great job in top lane at 181 to 149, but that gold lead isn't actually that spread due to the control of the map and the dragons that LMQ has had.
Yeah, look at that difference in mid lane is there. Xiao Xiao really strong, and it shows in his completed items. He has a whole 2 items up on Hai right now because Hai has invested more money in his boots as well, going with the home guard. But man, a Death Cap of Fiends, Orianna just has so much more teamfight presence than even that Kassan, who's gotten a single kill to try and get going. Meanwhile, this Rengar jungle here from Meteos, not coming up with many good plays from him. A lot of flubs so far, and he is going to go pretty much full tank now after his fail flare.
That almost even makes it harder too, because you look at all the shields, all the health you have to get through, you need those damage sources. And you're still going to have a few, obviously. Balls is going to fall off though as well.
Yeah, what they're looking for late game for damage is mostly going to be sneaky and high. But you're right, the Renekton and Rengar duo dive guys aren't going to have what it takes to assassinate one of these LMQ squishy targets who aren't even that squishy. I mean, even if you go on Graves, he's got the passive for extra defenses, and then if they decide he's in a tough situation, they can use their shields on Graves instead of on Jarvan to jump in.
Right.
And LMQ looks just they just have so many more options to be able to react to the playstyle that Cloud9 are going with.
And like you said, the damage that Rabadon's Death Cap and the Athenes not really needing to rush a Zanya's, which you would kind of figure if you're against a Rengar and a Kassadin, they're going to blow you up immediately. But with all those shields and that health, LMQ is going to start building the damage and try to get it done early. We're 22 minutes into the game. They haven't really pushed into any type of closing position on this one.
He's going in again.
He goes to Vasily on the back line. That's going to be the 1-2. He actually is going to get out of this one alive. With all the true grit passive he had stacked up, he's able to live through that with the stand behind me. And the Unbreakable coming in from his teammate Moore. Beautiful job in the bottom lane, but good pressure. Cloud9's going to pick up this turret.
So they catch him this time at least, and they get 2 summoners out of Vasily. But man, all it takes is the summoner heal plus Braum defending Vasily, and we've seen that Cloud9 do not have what it takes to assassinate him. However, once again, chunk somebody down enough, you're rewarded with an objective. Can Cloud9 hold the other side of the map though? They're getting pressured heavily, both on top and mid.
Ward's getting cleared out as LMQ starts to take control again of C9's side of the map. Ackerman taking out the top side. Now they're kind of free to roam around that part of the jungle and get the Fog of War in their favor. No. A hold coming in to Xiao. Very good timing there. Lemonation could get that ult though. The shockwave happens, but the flash is there, so they eventually get out of it. Smeedios is forced to flash out of this as well. And LMQ's presence there kind of changes Cloud9's mind.
Yeah, it's ult going off willy-nilly here. They see Lemonation, just the support by himself. Yeah. Boom, Cataclysm, boom, Shockwave. Don't get him? Oh well. Take down the turret.
We'll see what they can continue here in the top lane. Throwing down the flag. Vision, a little bit of armor, helping each other out, and they are going to go pretty hard on the turret. The Void Ooze goes out, so they really don't have anything but the knowledge of Kog'Maw being there from that. Balls is going to get hit up. One last glitter lance, but no, the Ignite takes him down from Xiao. They try to keep fighting. Vasily gets the Wild Growth. Not ready to turn on the fight just yet. No Name does go in. Flashes for the fight focus. High now takes down Vasily. This is going to be huge. The triple kill. Wait a minute. The quadra kill coming up for High. Is Xiao in range? The dissonance is going to be there. He's going to run out of mana. High will be chasing, but look at the mana bar. It's halfway gone. It's only going to cost more. This could be the extended Penta, coast to coast. One more dissonance was enough for Xiao to get away.
Yeah, that Rift Lock stacking up cost too much mana. But really, did you see the miscommunication there where No Name gets every single shield onto him and flashes out?
Yeah.
That is where this type of composition crumbles. Because you're relying on these AP solo laners as your defense, if the person you're putting these shields on bails out on the fight and doesn't hold true to the all-in strategy, then everything just goes in the trash can. Yeah.
Boom.
Look at that. That's over 1,000 HP worth of shields they bundled onto No Name. And then everybody else is just left holding the bag here. What are we going to do without our front line? High cleans everybody up. What a turnaround for Cloud9. They really needed that.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here, Kobe. You said that High should get a few kills on Kassadin, and I think he's got to that point.
He's got more than a few here. 5-0 for High. Zanya's completed after the last fight. Now he's
what a game changer. Enough for Hook to come in. The Wild Growth is there to save No Name. The fight can be reassessed. A 3-person Shockwave. Back into the fight with Cataclysm. Moore's going to be there down to low HP. Just bleeding out. No Name finally goes down. It's 4v3. High goes down now just after getting a quadra kill. And LMQ's able to turn around into Dragon Engage.
Cloud9 get overconfident.
Oh, the Glitter Lance hits on the end. Once again, Glitter being the detriment to this fight.
LMQ showing you what happens when we use all our giant AoE ultimates not on just Lemonation. If they hit the entire team there, blow up Cloud9, and as quickly as that, Cloud9 give, Cloud9 take away.
Wow. Nobody thought that was going to happen just now. Let's go back to the inhibitor turret. LMQ somehow at Dragon, now in the base of Cloud9. 26 minutes. At 20 minutes in the game, both teams were looking eye to eye in mid.
They jump everybody onto No Name, who once again fails.
That
but then
Shockwave.
Shockwave onto 3 people, Cataclysm onto 4. Everybody jumps in. High does have a Zanya's, but the front line here not going down fast enough.
That's the combination we talked about, Kobe. Easier said than done, but they just did it. All the crowd control, there for Graves, there for the AoE. Little dangerous getting out of this one. Boss is going to go in. They may lose No Name, but that should be it. They get out, and look at the dissonance damage return as well. Shredding through the team.
This is a fairly ridiculous game we have going.
That's how it was last time, Kobe. The tug of war never ends between Cloud9 and LMQ.
Passing that ball back and forth. Let's see. Cloud9 really need to regroup, though. Control this blue buff at least for themselves, because they've lost a lot on the map after that last route. What they do have going for them, still Sneaky is holding on to Baron buff.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the biggest champion for their team right now. They're relying a lot on that Kog'Maw for late game damage. Meteos has gotten his Pharaoh Flare transformation finally. However, with that full defense build following it up, he's not going to be that big threat. And it's pretty much all about Sneaky and High combo. Because same thing for Balls. He's only about slow burn damage. Not going to be able to kill anybody quickly.
Ooh. Sneaky is going for a dangerous, dangerous build. Really relying on that Mikhail's, relying on everything else his team can do for him.
He's got to go full damage.
They have to, yeah. Scary, scary stuff. But Kog'Maw, king of that late game hyper carry. He can do it. Seen it change games. The harassment from High coming in. See what he can do. A little damage assess there. Baron, like you said, still on to Sneaky. I don't think they're going to be able to use too much of that. Less than a minute left there. Word dying out that LMQ has vision on Cloud9, being very lax right now. Nothing can be pushed. Nothing can really happen. They're waiting for LMQ to make a move.
Middle inhibitor down. Really, Cloud9 are licking their wounds. Trying to get Sneaky some extra cash flow. They definitely need to calm down a bit, because it looked like after this surge of confidence with that one team fight right into a Baron fight, they kind of threw their whole game plan out the window, and they forgot about spreading out. They forgot about their whole plan of team fighting against an Orianna. I mean, they just got caught off guard once again by the Shockwave, and Jarvan, Graves, easy to follow that one up. They just got demolished, really, by the Dragon.
It's getting harder. Just across the board, the numbers show how this game has gone thoroughly. 3 kills for Ackerman and his solo. And these were standard lanes. Xiao 3 kills for him, and Vasily 3 kills. The people you don't want getting kills. Sneaky and the rest of his team. They need to start spreading those out.
Yep. And Cloud9 do have to be worried, because their vision control on their own side jungle has lacked.
Boom! Sneaky is going to get spread out in general by the rest of the team. Flattened there. The Cathian surprise only going to do so much, and LMQ now has a very big advantage and a power play to work with.
They went for that duo dive that we were going over with Jarvan plus Braum jumping right in onto Sneaky. No way for him to get out of it, even with the Lantern this time. Braum! Oh, he jumps to the minion, then
he didn't even hit the ground.
Then ulti.
He got double alley-ooped before
very,
he could
very
even flash.
quick move there from Moore.
Wow.
Jump to minion, flash in, ultimate point blank.
Very
Nothing Sneaky can do.
Very sweet composition of Jarvan Braum. As they go on to the next inhibitor turret in the game, they've already been able to drop one, slowly whittling down the base of Cloud9 in a back and forth game that LMQ has finally said, we're in the driver's seat, we're going to make some moves.
The other thing about this LMQ team, when your defenses are these very strong shields that you can target, it's pretty easy to go for a tower dive. Whoever is the one charging in, Jarvan or Braum, who's the focus of the turret, stack all the shields on that guy and get that shockwave going. It's very easy for them to quickly pull off a tower dive. So even bottom lane, if they decide to go siege up around the bottom lane turrets, Cloud9 have to be very wary of that repeat dive onto Sneaky, because now Sneaky has no flash, and it will only be the Lantern for repositioning.
Dangerous game they're playing here. LMQ showing a little bit of diversity as well once again in their picks. Bringing out the Graves for Vasily on this one. It seems to be working for him all across the board. They've been trying different things back and forth, trying to get themselves out of a slump. Looking at 2 consecutive losses right now. Not wanting a third one would be their longest loss streak. Also, both of these teams looking to share that first place right now for a 3-way tie. LMQ on the verge of doing that a little sooner here than Cloud9 and a 7,000 gold lead. Kobe, 32 minutes. It looks like we are going to get the Baron Samba back in business.
Well, LMQ have a lot of work to do to clear out wards, and they already have 2 exposed inhibitors, so they don't really need to risk a Baron.
Right. Just covering it.
Looks like they are going to go for the exposed inhibitor that is up. As we also said, their team is well equipped to go for tower dive, so they don't even have to venture over to that side of the map.
Not what you want.
It's a big fish, throw it back.
Real big fish. That's great damage onto Ackerman. A good dive here. They could have caught him off guard. Meteos, that's a big shockwave coming out of Xiao. They start to shred down Cloud9. The double kill from Vasily, and the power of shock and awe that LMQ has right now, and they have controlled and given themselves throughout this game, is now 14-8 overall. The 10,000 gold lead as they start taking on the Nexus turrets, and a pretty convincing middle to late game as LMQ is going to take down Cloud9.
Yeah, congratulations to LMQ picking up the victory here. Much needed for their team, and a very well executed, except for that one slip up.
Doing a great work. You can see Cloud9 really just in their own thoughts, figuring out what happened. Why couldn't they make the picks? A different play for Meteos coming in, trying the Rengar again. Kind of not forced on, but went for the Thero Flare, and that forced him into being not an assassinator. He had to build tanky. They lost damage from another portion of their team, and they didn't have it really from anywhere else, just hot.
Yeah, rough game for Cloud9, pretty much all around. Everything they tried to get going for the early game kind of fizzled out. And going into mid, there was just way too much teamfight control from this LMQ lineup. Very hard for Cloud9 to do anything about that. They had a pretty good window, though, to be fair. LMQ gave them a very nice opening after that failed fight and then Baron. And they immediately rushed up the Dragon and got shockwaved.
Like we said, they lose a fight and they keep coming back. Who would have thought that they were going to win a fight just after a quadra kill? They shut down the guy who got the quadra kill immediately, and it was like that fight never happened. LMQ was able to pull out strong. Vasily, the man on your screen, getting to show a little bit of the love he has for aggression. Playing that Graves, getting in, getting his true grit ready, firing no warning shots. Really great gameplay all around. No Name bringing out the Jarvan again. A little more successful this time.
Yeah, it was pretty good this time. Just small things I do got to work on. When we put over 1,000 health of shields on you, do some tanking for the team. You just flash out the side, and everybody else, squishy backline, is faced with some problems.
A quadra kill problem, to say the least. Right now, we're actually going to send it down to Jat, who's standing by on the winner's side.
Thank you very much, Riv. I'm, of course, joined by Ackerman and his translator right now. First question, what do you think the key to victory against Cloud9 was today?
就是第一个问题，你觉得今天战胜 Cloud9 最关键的一点是什么？
我觉得我们阵容在 BP 上面就已经赢了他们了，这是我们想拿出的，就是最理想的一套阵容。
I feel like we already won the game when we pick out all the champions that we wanted, and that's all.
So pick ban phase victory for Ackerman and LMQ. Also, LMQ seems to be very inconsistent from week to week. How do you guys become more consistent as a team?
就是另一个问题是，你们在打比赛的时候就是起伏很大，有时候会打得很好，有时候打得不行。然后你觉得你们的问题是什么呢？
我觉得就是我们原来选的这种就是临场有变，就是说不适应我们的一种打法，而今天我们就是打出了就是我们在训练赛就是一直想要的一种节奏，就是说推进。
Okay, so we constantly change our pick bands and that we practice on screens. So that's why we lose our games. But today we did what we practiced and we just keep pushing, and that's how we win the game.
All right, so practice makes perfect. Also, now that you're this far into the LCS, which other team do you see as your biggest challenge?
就是你们现在已经在 LCS 打了很长时间了，你觉得你们面对的最难的一支队伍是哪一支？
最难的话，我觉得是 DIG 吧，就是上次我们跟他们第一次交手，就是说几乎是全线被碾压，然后再加上我们自己就是说中期没处理好，就导致被就是说全场滚雪球，就没有一点反抗能力。
So I feel that the biggest challenge is DIG. Basically, they polished all our lanes during last game, and they snowballed the whole game, and we didn't even have a chance to fight back.
All right, so CLG called out there for LMQ biggest difficulty. And final question: you guys have a weekend where you don't have LCS. Do you have any special plans?
就是你们马上就是周末了嘛，然后呢，这周末你们不用打比赛，也赢了比赛，然后你们有什么就是放松的活动呢？
也许我们会去六池吧，就是玩过山车，因为我们一直就想去那边，然后因为前段时间就是太热了，或者说又是训练时间没有办法过去，然后这一周的话应该是有时间可以去放松一下。
We probably will go to Six Flags because like a few weeks ago it's too hard and we practice a lot of games and finally we have the time and we will go there.
Well, thank you very much, Ackerman. Hopefully you don't run into too many fans at Six Flags, but congratulations on your win and have a great weekend. Let's send it back to the guys at the desk to close out the day.
I want to go to Six Flags.
I like how Jack is asking them about their consistency, and he mimes this, and they're going to Six Flags roller coasters.
It works perfect. He's saying, is your consistency like you're going to go to Six Flags? Hopefully they can stop that.
We should join them, actually.
We should. They stopped their losing
too,
streak.
yeah.
That was going to be a 3-game losing streak for LMQ, the first one they ever would have had. So even with their kind of slumps, like he said, practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfect. But it seems to be working out for them so far.
Yeah, finally a lot of these teams that have been saying, yeah, our scrims are going great. We're practicing so well. It's translating to LCS wins here. Curse earlier today also getting their upset victory.
Yep.
Finally, they really needed that as well, bringing them out of it. Seems like all these teams that are down are getting the wins that they want to come back into this game, and it's keeping pretty much all of the North American LCS teams in contention. Everybody still has hopes of reaching at least top half.
It's absolutely spicing things up. Teams can't look just onto whatever game that they think is going to be the hardest. Trap games have caught so many teams already this split, and not considering that somebody is actually going to, or they are going to take a team for granted, and they do.
Speaking of trap games, you kind of have to mention Dignitas. I feel like almost every week they're calling at somebody and they're like, yeah, we're going to have easy end of the week, and then they lose another upset game. Easy end of the week, we lose another upset game.
Yeah.
How many times are they going to do that?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, we see on the analyst desk, we joke about it, but Crumbs and Kiwi Kid go to talk about a play, and Crumbs says Kiwi knew what he was doing, and Kiwi says, I actually, I just kind of went in. I felt like going in.
Yeah, they're hiding something. Plus, they're also just giving that happy-go-lucky vibe off.
Always. The smiles across the board for Dig. So let's check out the standings right now after a topsy-turvy day of upsets. In first place, it's CLG, LMQ, and Dignitas.
Then, still just one game back, it's another tie for fourth place with Cloud9 and TSM. Curse, the only team not in a tie, does hold sixth place now.
Good for them, and sharing last, it's Complexity and Evil Geniuses. And if we're drafting our fantasy teams this week, here are a few names that would make up our first picks. In the top lane, it's Quas. He was instrumental in Curse's win over Counter Logic Gaming in a strong Kale game, applying good map pressure all over.
And OP in the jungle, it is Kez. His Evelyn was everywhere on the map, keeping Dignitas off balance, and it allowed Complexity to pull off a huge upset victory.
Next up, it's Xiao Wei Xiao. He had a nearly flawless Oriana game to help his team finish the week, still holding on to first place.
And despite a 1-1 week, Wild Turtle turned in 2 good games, only dying once and racking up 11 kills.
And our OP support this week was X-Special. His solid Thresh game this week pulls him closer to the 1,000 career assists. The player that would take the top of the podium this week is Xiao Wei Xiao.
Xiao Wei Xiao bounced back incredibly well after LMQ's loss to CLG, and today he narrowly avoided falling to a high pentakill. We went back to Oriana, and a pick that has actually had a lot of teams in the challengers scene running scared.
Yeah.
And now the team, they've climbed all the way back into a 3-way tie for that first place.
He's definitely somebody that, LMQ as a team, they were kind of on the boards as a team to watch, but Xiao, I think as a player that people have said we're going to watch, has lived up to and consistently lives up to his name. I think the last one to do that really strong was like Bjergsen or somebody.
Yeah, both of those mid laners,
right.
As soon as they came in, instant results.
Absolutely. That's just about going to do it here for the LCS this week, but don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the European LCS, which will be broadcasting from the historical Wembley Arena in London.
Yeah, playing first is going to be SK Gaming versus Alliance, followed by the Super Hot Crew taking on the Copenhagen Wolves.
They'll also be serving up the European Challenger Series final between Ninjas in Pajamas and H2K. Then North American LCS returns next week on its regularly scheduled Saturday start time, beginning with Team Solo Mid versus CLG. Then Complexity will challenge Cloud9, followed by EG versus Curse. As always, you can get the complete schedule on our website, lolesports.com. Now, for myself, Kobe, Freak, Jat, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next week.
You did? You know, we should actually like iCarly. Really? Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. You're ruining the show,
You don't like
man.
that?
You're hating on iCarly while you're talking about Hannah Montana.
Nah, actually, I watched
Okay.
iCarly too.
Yeah.
That was awful.
But every single one of them.
I'm on Jinx,
Yeah, center Jinx, on Jinx. Follow Jinx. Follow Jinx.
I got Jinx.
Get back on shifter. No, stay on shifter. Stay on shifter.
I'm on shifter.
Comes next.
My bad.
Wild Turtle shredding some damage from the outside. Valkyrie's into the fight once again to keep the follow going. Helios is going to be the next hit. A box bomb and a bubble and a triple kill for Wild Turtle.
Oh my god, I want to retire.
I mean, Boy is being chased out by Afromu. He's ready to go down for the team in this situation. He gets another shield. Oh! They are coordinating everything.
Look for Link.
Link. Okay, keep on going. I'm on the back. I got all the free boy. Look to end. That's it. That's game.
Yes. Oh my god, my favorite time. God damn it.
Not ready to turn on the fight just yet. No Name does go in. Flashes for the fight focus. High now takes down Vasily. This is going to be huge. The triple kill.